first unit I want to look at today is STR Cell. This unit is actually way more amazing than I thought he would be in short meta, which I guess makes more sense when you look at his kit. His kit is kind of designed to be really good in shorter fights. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that per se that this unit is designed to be bad in longer content. It's not the case at all. It's just more so the fact that you can clearly tell this unit shines more in shorter content. For example, when you're looking at STR Cell, right, he gets his intro up right away, which creates the Cell Games Arena for 5 turns, and then you also get the revive animation, or sorry, the revive skill, which brings up your damage reduction to 15% in guard permanently, which you can revive very quickly, right? You die, you can end the turn very quickly that way. It's a good team protection skill as well, especially in short content as well. And then all you gotta do is attack 5 times to get your 150% defense from attacking. There is another thing too as well you gotta consider is when you get his active skill, which can happen to either when you're under 70% HP or from the 4th turn from start of battle. So there's a lot of things that go his way where you can stack the intro, the active, building up stats, and all of that sort that allows Cell to look ridiculously good. And in fact, he can tank up to 15 mil, specifically supers, because he gets 15% damage reduction, you know, from his guard, from his revive, but he only gets 30% damage reduction when he is getting hit by a super attack. So I mean, he has 65% damage reduction. That's the thing, right? He only has 65% against supers, yes, but he does have 35 against normals with a guard, which allows this unit to be very, very good post revive. And you know, for example, like I used him in against the in Rose fight, and he took the Rose super for 50k. That's very good, because even when he starts building up, Cell's not really going to be in danger until A, you know, he starts doing his AoEs when he's really high up there in damage, and B, maybe even his, you know, about probably past the 15 mil point of his super attack is when he's going to start taking damage. And you got to keep in mind as well, that's my Cell who wasn't fully built up on defense. He didn't have active up, and also my Cell's not 100%. It's a 55% Cell. So this unit is very slept on and not talked enough about, in my opinion, and I think this was the case even day one. People hated on this unit a lot, and I really don't know why. He's actually a pretty incredible unit overall. All right, next we're gonna talk about AGL Cell, and that's pretty interesting. We're gonna talk about him because I wasn't the biggest fan of AGL Cell when he came out. I don't think he was the worst unit in the world. I just think that there were better options, and his base form did not impress me too much. One, because he only had 67% dodge. And again, during this meta, you're not fighting 2 or 3 enemies. You're just not, right? At least back when he released. Nowadays, you can face up to 5 enemies, right? In the clone fight, you can fight 2 enemies in the stage 5 of the Blue Zone fight, in the new Kale and Cauliflower fight, and in Rose and Zamasu. There's a lot of fights that have 2 opponents, right? Even the Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta fight, right? So this is not his gimmick now of getting 18% dodge versus 2 enemies looks a lot better because it's actually a relevant thing now. So AGL Cell's coming out with 85% dodge turn 1. And I'm going to shout out the person on Discord who you'll know him. I think he's Alliant on the Discord into the comments, but he's Honored One on Discord for, you know, kind of allow me to open my eyes to that a little bit, because I didn't realize how good his Cell actually was in newer gen content, right? I think back then he was, you know, decent, but nothing crazy, because, I mean, he was great once he got the perfect, right? Once he got the perfect Cell, he's fine. The issue was 1 and 2, right? First form, second form. But now that his first form is actually really relevant in today's content, it allows him to shine so much more. And again, you can run him next to STR Cell, and their links are crazy. You got the domain up, you got all these things going their ways for them that allow them to be an insane duo to kind of run the gauntlet a little bit more. And again, you can't use this AGL Cell in every fight, right? You're not going to bring him into fights where you're fighting single enemies for how hard they hit right now. I mean, you could roll the dice on the 67% dodge if you want to. I probably wouldn't. But, I mean, you can roll that dice if you want to, but, you know, the 85% dodge is going to go a long way for you in terms of that. I mean, if you're using hit right now and you like to use hit, this Cell is going to be even a better product for you. So, I mean, I don't see a lot of people talking about this AGL Cell. He's kind of gone, you know, and I don't blame them, but I think he's gotten a lot more relevance ever since we've gotten more 2 opponent fights. All right, let's talk about Glorio. I think we always got to bring up Glorio because people just hate on him. You know, some people do, unless they do one. But here's the thing. Look, I know Glorio can suck when it comes to AoEs against locking, and those are prevalent things, right? We have locking, we have AoEs. He's nowhere near as he once was in terms of TUR placements. He's probably not a top 10 TUR right now. So, I mean, yes, but if we're talking about, you know, if we're not talking about Omega and Rose Masu and I guess the GT Boss Rush, he's very good. 80% dodge, having that support. I mean, this guy, this guy's the sole reason why you can run through festival battles in under an hour. Well, I guess he's not the sole reason, but he helps Raph Broly get those stats that he needs with a constant cycling at 50% attacking defense at all times. But I think the most important thing for this guy is, again, he's a support unit that can dodge, right? That's an important thing to me, because I guess I understand that AoEs can hurt him, but he does have 50% dodge, so it's not like he doesn't have some kind of insurance policy against AoEs. I'm not saying 50% high at all, actually, because I've seen firsthand how much 50% dodge really does in this game, and it's really not that much. But, I mean, the biggest issue for this unit, I will say, is going to be locking. About it. I mean, because you're going to get locked out of slot 3, most likely, and you're going to be thrown into slot 1 and locked in slot 1. So, you know, Glorio can look bad, right? Glorio can look bad in certain scenarios like that. I understand that, but I still think we got to consider the fact that we have a ton of fights right now. For example, the blue zone fights, especially, that are just filled with bosses that are ridiculously high attacks, and Glorio is allowing your team to be buffed while also he's dodging with 80% dodge. And don't forget, he lowers attack and defense, so he's allowing, there's a lot of benefits that come from using Glorio. Again, he doesn't have a lot of teams either, so it doesn't help him out too much, but mission execution on Tao's team is really nice. Dragon Ball Seekers is decent. Accelerated Battle is awesome. Demonic Power is starting to get some more use, but I do think Glorio is an important asset overall for all of this stuff, and I still think Glorio does have usage even in this meta. All right, next is INT Yamcha, and it's funny because I'm noticing this list. I'm looking like, okay, dodge unit, dodge unit, dodge unit, and the next one's a dodge unit, and the next one's a dodge unit, right? Lots of dodge units. I get it! That are prevalent in this meta right now for a big reason. But I will say, and I gotta know, right, for all these units I'm mentioning on this list, is yes, Red Zone Broly is a great example of a new boss that is going to manhandle a lot of these guys on this list. You cannot run Fist Glorio in that fight. You cannot run AGL Cell in that fight. You cannot run these next 3 units. Well, you can run the last one, but you can't run the other 2 on this list in this fight, and we'll get to them in a second. But you already seen on screen, INT Yamcha's on our screen, as I mentioned earlier. I think INT Yamcha is a very strong unit. I mean, the fact that you can have 100% dodge turn 1 just allows him to be such a prominent unit throughout. He has 20% dodge for the first turn due to his intro. He already starts off with 50% dodge, and then he gets 10% dodge per rainbow orb that he attains, while also being a rainbow orb changer. Then he also gets dodge for every super attack performed. So remember, you start your turn with 70% dodge. If you get 12 key, which should not be hard, you guarantee have. Actually, oh, he already has super attack, because he has, if you run a normal leader skill, he has 6 key. So he already has super attack. He has 80% dodge post super, right? Then you get rainbow orbs, which you should at least get 3. Let's just say you get 3, right? You get 3 rainbow orbs before attacking. You know, so you have 100% dodge before attacking. And then once you evade attack, you gain 2 additional attacks, which have a 50% chance of becoming a super. So you have a super attack, you have guaranteed, you have the 70% chance of an attack becoming a super attack, you have 2 additionals that have a 50% chance of being a super attack, and then you also have another additional attack that has a high chance of being a super attack if in slot 2 or 3, which you're not going to, but you can gimmick around that with the Spirit Ball. And then you also have the hidden potential super. So there's a lot of things that can go your way in order to do that. And again, you can activate Spirit Ball turn 1 if all allies are Earthbred fighters turn 1. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could have 6 attacks. 3 of them being a 50% chance of being a super, 1's a 70%, 1's guaranteed, and then 1's your hidden potential. If you can't get 3 supers out of that, it's just pretty unlucky, right? But if you get 3 super attacks out of that, he has 100% dodge on his first turn. Of course, things change as it goes along, because then you lose 20%, and then you do got to rely a little bit more on the aspect of actually getting the dodges. But more so, the point I'm trying to get across is This unit has tons of dodge utility, especially in short meta, that allows this unit to be really good in special battles and blue zone, you know, which are pretty prominent fights right now. And this guy, it does a lot of damage. This guy can dodge. That allows him to be a great option for certain teams, which is the reason why I really do enjoy this Yamcha. All right, next we have Fizz Pan, and now again, Pan is very niche to the GT Heroes team, right? It has to be a full rotation of GT Heroes in order for you to get your 40% dodge, 40% damage reduction on top of your 30% dodge and all the other support. But the reason why I like this unit is ton is because let's first look at what her support is. She gives 60% attack and defense to all allies, right? Then again, on GT Heroes or Youth, she has a 40% damage reduction, 40% dodge, and then again her base 30% dodge. And then she also gives all allies TEQ, which is not anything crazy, but it's just something to note because this Pan's a very good unit. She can tank some normals even if she doesn't dodge due to her multiplicative 250% attack. Oh no, actually, sorry, multiplicative 450% attack. So she has a lot of multiplicative stats that allows her to look really good on certain rotations. And let's not even forget the fact that in slot 3, she's not even supporting your rotation. She can support the next one by giving all allies attack plus 25% per super she does on the next rotation, because she gives 25% attack for 2 turns for each super she does, while also greatly raising her own attack and defense. Again, I'm pretty sure she can get up to 2, 3, 4 mil defense, just around there, with 40% damage reduction and then 70% dodge, while giving all allies TEQ, 60% attack and defense, while also having you know, if you super, I think she only can super twice right now. Yeah, so she can super twice, so 50% attack for the next turn. I mean, that's a lot of things going your way in terms of support. And again, with the support unit, you really do want someone like this, right? I mean, dodge or die, of course, is not the most favorite thing in the world. I understand that for sure. But the biggest thing I gotta say is, you know, you have a ton of support on that team as well, right? Because you have double Gogeta. Like she can get, okay, so yeah, I have it right here. She can get up to 3.6 mil defense with hardly any work, with a double G4, 70% defense up, with 40% damage reduction and 70% dodge, while giving 60% attack and defense and TEQ to all of your allies in that rotation. And then if you super twice, she gives 50% attack on the next rotation. I mean, a really strong support unit. I really enjoy using her. I mean, yes, she does get caught. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, she's never gotten caught for me before. She has, but I still think her pros outweigh her cons into a unit I think deserves a lot more recognition in fights that don't dodge cancel. All right, the next unit we have is TEQ Gogeta. I know this unit is probably not used a ton because its base form is not the greatest thing in the world, but I will say that this unit is quite incredible, more so for the fact that he has a way to get out of being caught in his base form per se. And that is all thanks to the new TEQ Golden Frieza and DBZ Gogeta. You see, the biggest thing that was hurt, again, the biggest problem for them was their base form was just not good, right? I mean, you could get past the fact that they did have 60% damage reduction, and when they released it, wasn't the worst thing in the world, sure. But the biggest problem, of course, is once that wore off, you just were not going to be able to handle that. So the greatest thing about this unit is more so the fact that once you fuse, they are broken because they have 80% damage reduction, guard, scouter, all of the above, right? Now, what if I told you can basically guarantee that by throwing TEQ Gogeta in a floating spot, use a redirect on Golden Frieza, get them out scot-free, then the next time they come out, you can fuse right into Gogeta. Of course, you got to make sure you actually fulfill the health condition. It's not a hard health condition at all. You just got to be above 70% HP, which should not be an issue, but of course, you got to make sure you actually fulfill that condition. But the reason why I say a lot of people don't talk about this unit, and I think they're still really good, is because of the fact that the TEQ Gogeta is pretty much unkillable. That guy is not taking any damage from most of these fights. Now, he's still going to get caught in Rose. He's still going to get caught in blue zone fights, even with 80% damage reduction and guard, right? It's just going to happen. But I still think that this unit, for being a year old and surviving some drastic levels of power creep, has still shown to be a unit you can use in today's meta, thanks to 220% leads, thanks to redirects, thanks to all of that. This unit actually does have some life still, and it's quite impressive because more so the fact that TEQ Gogeta is very good in his first 5 turns. Alright, the final unit we're talking about today is STR Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Like, come on guys, he's clearly a unit we all, enjoy. Like, why don't we talk about this guy so much? Like, he's so good. He's a headliner for 2025. He's so good. He can get up. Okay, I'm done with the bit. All right, I've done this bit a lot this year. All right, but I do think we don't talk about how bad this unit is. Look, I try to go through, because I'm bored, right? There's not a lot to do in Dokkan Battle right now. I mean, you can go do the new Red Zone fights. That's great. Go have fun doing that. But there's really not a ton to do. And I think the funny thing is going through the newer content and using older teams, trying to get a feel about how everyone feels in the meta, how do PURs, like, and that's the reason why I even have the cells at the beginning of this list, because I have started to use them more recently, thanks to, again, the person in Discord who allowed me to encourage me to use them, and I got my own feeling on them, and I really do enjoy them. But I do think that we're in an era of just time of just trying to find things to do in the game to be entertained. And I do think that this Evolution Blue Vegeta just needs to be way better, right? I mean, there's no reason this guy should have been this bad. And I cannot stress this enough. If they knew power creep was coming, right? They knew it. They knew how bad it was going to be. Why are these units so bad? This Vegeta could barely handle the meta he's coming in. You think he's going to handle Rose Masu with locking and AoEs? No, he's not. And I tried to do it. I've tried to run Evolution Blue Vegeta multiple times. This guy eats one AoE and he's dead. That's just atrocious. That's awful. And he got locked in slot 1. Of course, 1 normal and he's sent to Narnia. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. I mean, in fights that you can float him, sure, he can have some life. Especially if you get 10 orbs, he can look fairly good. Again, the drastic ranges of damage reduction definitely matters, right? I mean, you can get up to, hypothetically, over 100% damage reduction if you get the 30% damage reduction from the 6 supers while having intro up. Like, that in between, you could, like, there's like a very small window where he can look impressive. That's it though. He's really not that good outside of it. Relies too much on orbs, relies too much on trying to get super attacks to be good, and then also on top of that, just not even being good once you get a lot of those things going for him. No active skill really hurts a unit with a kit like this. Maybe like, I don't even know what an active skill would look like in order for him to look good, but I just think that this unit needed to be a lot better, and he just wasn't, and it's confusing, very confusing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys agree or disagree with the units on this list? If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to click the links in the description below. The first one's to all of my Dokkan Battle voiced content. The second one is to all my Dokkan Battle content videos in general, voiced and non-voiced. And then, of course, my third link is my G Fuel link, which is going to be 20% off your next order, so make sure to capitalize on that. I also want to let you guys know we are going to be doing streamed content again. We are back, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different. I want to approach streamed content differently. I think spin the wheel challenges were fun, but I think it's time to take a different approach and have a different, have more fun with it. I think we can enjoy the game more together, and I can create more content out of it. Allow me to have more fun, because there is a point every year where Dokkan Battle becomes draining to make, because there's just not a lot going on, and you just have to kind of produce your own content. And this probably will change by the time we get to the 11th anniversary and get the new game mode, and maybe there's new things to do. But I do want to either which Gekishin Squadra, again, you guys are already seeing those videos pumping out, that's going to be out. But B, I think another thing too is more so just getting variety content still in the Dragon Ball niche. We're still making Dragon Ball Z videos, but I think in the Dragon Ball niche we need to start making this content and allowing that stuff to shine here, and that will start to become what we're going to expect in the future for this channel. Just until in the future, we'll get to the point where things change, and I know my content with Gekishin Squadra is not going to be it's not going to hit right away. I understand that. I definitely understand that. But we'll keep going as we go. We'll roll as we roll. And again, I'll still be making Dokkan Battle content, but don't be surprised when there's variation from time to time as I try to find a new way to approach creating content on this channel when times are dry. So anyways, that's enough babbling. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.